Hello everyone, welcome to our today's session. My name is Konstantinos Passadis. We're going to see together Azure Flow and AI application. We will do AI and find other amazing sessions that are also planned for today. And architect working here in Greece, in a remote position. My contact details are here. This session as well. It's a demo, it's a workshop, and the short I/O. So everything is there, including this one. Our Microsoft Azure MVP in a trainer for Microsoft Azure and Microsoft 365 as well. Let's go and see how we're going to work with Azure AI Studio and Azure OneStream. It is designed to streamline the entire development cycle of AI applications, which are powered by large language models. I'm reading from the documentation right now. As a module for LSU learning workflow provides us a comprehensive solution, which in fact simplifies the process of prototyping, experimenting, iterating, and deploying our AI application. So let's make it a little bit simpler. Azure AI Studio is a brand new offering from Microsoft. When we create a new project, a new hub in our Azure subscription, let me show you here in our resource. So we have here the resource group, which I have created in Azure AI Studio and Azure AI solution that comes with the same resource, and then you can create projects and connections from Azure AI Hub. If you go to the resource visualizer, you will see that you have also, there it is, right? This is a machine learning workspace that you can just go to ML and select that workspace. So let's do it and see the whole process. So I'm available from the creation of an Azure AI services solution with the Azure AI Studio. This is the one. Let's go and see it again. This is the hub, and this is the project. So I'm selecting my workspace in Azure Machine Learning. Elements are Okay, it is renamed to session, which provides us an improved experience, and we can easily monitor the life cycle. Compute and I have already created a form flow, but we may use it if we face any problems today, but we're going to start from scratch, right? So we have created our AI service solution, we have an AI hub, right? And we also have our project in place. Now it's up to us whether we're going to do this within Azure AI Studio, or we are going to do it from Azure Machine Learning. I prefer machine learning, but you can see here you have already the link to create a new prompt flow directly from Azure AI Studio. But our prompt flow, it is based on our own data. That means that we're going to create it from PDF files, which is going to be used by the prompt flow and eventually our AI application, which is very simple, a simple web application in Python that we can interact with the model, ask some questions, and get back output from the model regarding our data. When we hear our data, what we do? Hello, everyone. Let me find some PDF files that are about Microsoft licensing. I'm going to show you the content of the files. It is from Microsoft site about licensing. There's a lot of information there. So let's see, licensing Windows 10, Office 2019, on-premises products, Visual Studio and Azure DevOps, Windows Server 2022, and let's see, okay, also, that's enough for us for now. So I simply selected the files and they are uploaded to the storage account that comes with Azure AI Studio. As you understand, we need an Azure AI Search service available for us. I can connect an existing one, or I can select my search service that is already there. Remember, I have created a new project, and I have also created a search service. The pricing tier I have selected is at least basic for this type of development. At least basic. You can work with free to explore and get to know what search service is, but when you upscale a little bit and you want to build something that actually works, I recommend a basic tiering for you. Let's create a new index. Let's say now, of course, it needs a virtual machine. It needs compute to run the indexing job. I can leave it to select. I can select from the recommended options. It's recommending here standard E4DS, or I can select from other available options. I will leave it to select and let it handle this issue. I will also add vector search to these search results because we're going to direct to the model. We need vector search, and the embedding model is already into our Azure OpenAI text embedding ADA 002. So it is a prerequisite to have deployed a GPT model for interaction and an embedding model for the indexing and the vectorization. You can see here that the compute that ultimately was selected, it is a serverless compute. It's going to take some time to create the index. So we're going to see the existing one. It is basically the same thing. The same thing that we're trying to do here is already there. You can see here that in fact the workspace is the same, right? So once we created and set all the parameters ready and started creating the index, we got a message here in Azure Machine Learning Workspace that the job has started. And actually we can go here and find the job either from the notification or from the vertical menu with the option jobs under assets and see our job in action. Let's have a look here what's happening. For anyone just starting with AI services, there is a process named chunking where to say very simple, the data that you are providing is broken down into chunks, and that facilitates the process of vectorization and creating the embeddings for our data. So we can see here that the job is very transparent, what it's going to do. It's going to crack chunk and the data. It's going to update the index, and it's going to register it, of course, as a vector index asset into our workspace. Let's have a look on our flow. I have selected one of the already existing templates, let's say, which I clone and I have renamed. I will show you exactly how that goes. This is the prompt flow, right? You can see here that in order to be able to run it, we need a computer session. We need to start it in order to be able to test it. We want to test it for whatever reason. Let's see how that goes. It has an input section. This is where our input comes, right? You notice here that the value is empty. That's why, when I finally create the deployment endpoint for this prompt flow that's going to be consumed by my AI application, I want the questions to be dynamic. So I left it like this. When we create our prompt flows for the first time, this is going to have a value, right? It's going to have a question, and of course a question regarding our data. And there comes the output. The output is answer the question with the context. Then we have the lookup section where we need to select our index, right? You can open this menu. The object, of course, is the question that is going to be asked by the user and comes from the previous section. The query type, hybrid, we need vector and keyword, and the top K parameters is going to be 2. Our prompt flow allows us to activate several parts of our flow when a specific condition is satisfied. So for example, I can say that this section, this lookup section, is going to be activated when this condition is satisfied, right? It's a very flexible tool, and we can parameterize it and configure it to whatever liking we have and whatever our needs are. Now the interesting part, where we have a part of Python code, it is creating the context, right? You can see here, everything is there for us. We don't need to write a single line of code. And I have noticed that it is very it's kind of upgraded because the first time that I created the prompt flow, it needed some hands-on. But now I'm trying to tell you that everything is done by using simply selections and menus. It's a ClickOps operation here. And that's why I have chosen this session to show you how easy it is to start getting to know yourself with these technologies without having to write a single line of code. If you want to progress into this field, eventually you're going to need to be able to write some code, but in the process of getting to know these technologies, you don't need to have this kind of knowledge. Now, a nice thing that the prompt flows has is the variance. We can have different variants where we will get different responses based on what our variant is. So we can have a variant that says, okay, you're an AI system, you will give it a context to ask a question. We can change the system message, we can add another message, we can add the context into our question, we can change our question to something else. It's a way that you can use variants to evaluate your prompt flow with a single shot. And you create once the model and the prompt flow, and in the context of using the variants, you have the ability to evaluate how this is responding to different types of prompts regarding the system message, the user message. You can see here that the user is using the context, and the human eventually is asking the response from the AI. So we have three variants here. They are all the same. I'm not going to interact with the variants for the time being because we are seeing the inputs. The context is the generation prompt from the context output, and the question, of course, is the input. And ultimately answer the question section that we have seen already. How is this done? It's using my OpenAI connection. The API is using chat. The chat name, I have action here, and the maximum tokens are going to be used. The response format I can select to be either text or JSON. It depends on how we are going to build our application and what our ultimate needs are. A nice addition here, you can see we can integrate function calling. This is very important. So, in fact, we can have an automated response and calling different tools, and this can be done directly from the prompt flow. For example, we can say build a virtual machine with this and this and these parameters. Function calling can call, for example, an external API, Azure Resource Manager API, and create this type of and then we have the prompt text that comes from the AI. The first time that this prompt flow was running was successful. You can see here that it was completed. Let's see how our other index job is. It is completed. So what we have done right now, we have created our index, we have uploaded our data, and our data is ready and vectorized. Let's go and create our. So from the menu from flow, I can go to flow here and click on create. You see here that we have several types already there for us. So I'm going to clone this one, Q&A on our data. There are others too, multi-round Q&A, word classification, chat with Wikipedia, GPT function calling, dedicated function calling classification, groundness evaluation, import for file share, upload from local if you have already your flows created, for example, in VS Code. We're going to use this one, and let's name it a license. Clone. And we're going to add our parameters here. We're going to test it with sample question. Well, we will open a PDF and see how this, which question we're going to select. This is a live session. So forgive me for any error. So I have to select my index, right? Give it some time. And let's start the computer session. There are some errors around. I have to admit that. I will show you with what I have found and what you can dismiss. You don't have to try to troubleshoot. I will show you. This is something that is constantly updated, new technology, and all these new features that are coming, they are constantly updated, upgraded, and new things are added. So we will have some errors here. But this is what I like with Microsoft. They are very open with it, and we can go to the documentation and say, hey, I found this. We can contribute there. I found this error, I found this problem here. So, yeah. It opened. I can select my register index, an Azure AI Search index that's already there, FAI SS index, or an ML index format. I will select my register index, which is the licensing one. You can see here where it tells the tag one for our config. For the query type, I will add vector and keyboard. I don't need anything else. Remember to save when you are making configuration changes. So let's save. You saw that I started the computer session. I recommend you, when you start creating a prod flow, to also start the computer session, because in the previous offering of prod flows, we had the ability to create this runtime, right? But now we have the computer session here, so you saw that I had to start the computer session. I don't know if this was relevant to the fact that the index was not there. I suspect it is. So the first thing, let's start the computer session. We're going to do it eventually, so we're not going to be saved by 2 or 3 minutes more of computer session running. So we have added the parameters for the lookup section. We don't need to change anything in the code. We can generate variants, right? Or we can go and add or remove existing variants. But what we have to do, of course, is say, okay, which large language model is going to be used to interact with you when you start making your questions? Because the first part is covered by the index. You have your data, it's going to look into the data and it's going to create the response. How this response will come back to you? What model is going to be used? I have an OpenAI model, the connection is there. This is the beauty with Azure AI Studio. All your AI services are there, so the connection is already there. You don't have to create a new connection for the OpenAI. The API is chat, as we said earlier, and I have a deployment there. I can select either the GPT-4 or the GPT-4o. I can play with the temperature or a stop action here, and the max tokens. The response format is going to be text as well, because we're going to use it later into our AI app. A simple web app, you're going to see how that works. Let's save it once more. And let's go and see the system message now. This is something that is absolutely up to you. You are going to instruct the model how it will respond. Let's do something and leave it as it is for the moment. And I'm going to show you something that you probably have understood here. Let's say the system. You're an AI assistant that helps you ask questions given a specific context. You will be given a context, that's the question based on that context. The context in our case is our data, okay, the licensing PDF that we have uploaded. Your answer should be as precise as possible. It should only come from the context, right? We're not instructing the model to not answer anything relevant. So let's go and see how that works, and then we're going to change it, the system message, make it more precise and specific. I think it's time to test it. Let's go and find some of our data and make a question over there about it. I remember that we have uploaded several documents about software, about Windows 10 licensing, Office 2019 licensing, on-premises products, Windows Server. I like this one. Let's see, let's find something on the PDF of Windows Server 2022. This is a PDF that we have uploaded. All the PDF files that we have uploaded look like this. They have the same layout. So let's ask it, what are the licensing options or details of the Windows Server 2022 Essentials? Let's make this question directly on our prompt flow. And let's run it. I think everything is there. We are not forgetting something, and we will see if something is missing. The user interface will let us know. Okay, this is a question about the variant because we have already 3 variants. I didn't change anything. They all are the same, so I can use the default variant for all nodes. The variant 0. It's going to be a little bit faster here. We need some time. I can see that each section has completed. Okay, we are going to be presented with the answer. So let's see the answer here. The answer, we can see actually that the data is here. It is some points about Windows Server 2022 Essential. But was able to using the language model that is embedded in GPT-4o, right? So this is our prompt flow. I think we are happy for now. Let's say, okay, this is what I was looking for. I want something to be able to answer our users about licensing options. We can discuss a little bit more about other topics. I will explain to you later how we can do it. For example, we can create an orchestrator here that can recognize keywords. So if someone asks for support, a specific prompt flow is going to be run, or if someone asks for licensing, it will recognize the keyword and ask another prompt flow. So we can integrate different prompt flows for different functions. Here is our prompt flow. Let's see a little bit how it looks as a raw file. This is how it looks. It looks like a YAML file, right? Okay. You can see here that we have a requirements.txt file already there. We can also add additional packages if we want to for the environment. That it's going to be the next step for us. Okay, our prompt flow is ready. What we want now? We want to utilize this prompt flow. We want to utilize it into our web application. What is the next step? How Azure AI services work in that case? We need an endpoint. This is how it works. We need an endpoint. So let's go to our endpoints. Let's save it here. We want to deploy it, right? I'm going to stay to the code flow and select deploy. I need an endpoint, so let's say the deployment name is going to be named board license 1. I don't have a quota, so let me delete something else, and we will continue with this one. I will delete the other endpoint. And our code flow will have the code run. One thing that I forgot is that I have to remove this question. I don't want to deploy this with a question here. So let's have this, quotes, and save it again. Final check that everything is okay. Everything is correct. Alright, so let's save it and then deploy it. We deleted the other endpoint, so we can go to terminal 27. Let's select a little more powerful machine. This one, or we can select the one. Let's leave it this one. It's fine. 4 cores, 16 GB of RAM will be fine. Instant count for now, one instance is fine, but one for me is fine. Right. Beautification type. I suggest you have a good look of how things are going to be in a very short future. Microsoft is moving to Microsoft Entra Azure AI authentication, and this is what is going to be in the very near future. For now, we're leaving it to key-based, but again, I suggest you have a good look of how things are in the very near future regarding authentication, and especially Azure AI services. I can add my deployment tags, and I will leave it to use the environment of the current flow. I think everything is there. I did select the application site. I haven't found a way to add it after the Azure AI Studio is deployed. It's not about time to do it. And of course, some advanced settings. I need the output into the endpoint response, and I need the answer the question with context section using the connection KPO, the OpenAI connection, right, with the deployment of the GPT-4. And we're good to go. We are building our endpoint. It's going to take a little bit of time to be created. And in the meantime, let's go back to Azure AI and see what do we have here. We can see here that we have our license bot and the previous bot that I have created. I can see Azure AI Studio on the prompt flow and be able to use it, configure it, and so on. So it's up to us which workspace we're going to use for our configuration on the prompt flow. You can see here that it is saved with the quotes, so it's a dynamic question that will come to this prompt flow. Right, let's go and see what's going on here. Nice. So let's see what's going on here. We are into the endpoints menu, right? And we are looking at our new endpoint for the prompt flow that we have created. The provisioning state is succeeded. It's going to use a managed code view type. It's created by me. All right. You can see all the details that we previously selected. You can see here that we have a REST endpoint for us, and you can see here that we have the 100% traffic going to be into this endpoint, allocated into this endpoint. But along with endpoint, it comes a deployment. So we are waiting for the deployment of the endpoint to be also ready. So you can see here that we can have auto scaling also. So we are not obligated to use 3 instances from the start, from the get-go. We can create auto scaling rules. So when our traffic is coming more and more into this endpoint, we can stop. There are some prerequisites here. I urge you also to look into the code sample repo and the tutorial about the code flow. You will find some good information there. For example, it needs a managed network to be able to run. And yeah, there are some things for now. The provisioning state is creating. It's not going to take that long. I think it's quite fast for our works. My VS Code here, a VS Code machine. I have created here a very simple web interface in Python that we're going to use to interact with our change this type of input from the endpoint deploy. We don't need to do nothing. As I told you how it goes, the job is running. This is our endpoint. be very, very soon ready. We will be given the code, and if we have a little bit of patience, if we're just starting with this, we will be able to create our own web application. All we need is some styling, a small JavaScript to be able to get back the results from the endpoint and present them into our web interface, and an index.html so we can have a nice interface into our web app. So let's see how our deployment goes. It is creating. Once it is created, we're going to be able to see here a test. We can test our deployment directly from the portal. We can consume the model. That means that we will be able to grab the code and add it into our own application. Give it a few moments and it will be ready very, very soon. Now, into Azure AI Studio, let's have a look into our connections. This is, as we saw earlier, we have a hub that it is the parent resource for our projects, and then we can create projects under this Azure AI Hub. This is our project, and we have a connection to our OpenAI resource. This is our previous deployment. Another flow, I tried to create a connection to application insights after I created this resource. I'm not able yet to make it work, but I think I will find a way. In the settings of our project, AI project, you will see every connection here. So we have the Azure OpenAI connection. It's like an internal connection, right? Within the Azure ecosystem, we have a connection to Azure OpenAI. We have the Azure AI Search, the application itself, we can ignore it for now, and we have 3 blob storage connections within our Azure resource group, of course. So if you go to the resource group, now you're going to see, refresh here, we're going to see here, we have a new resource created that is a machine learning online endpoint, and we have the machine learning online deployment. If I click here to the endpoint and go to identity, you will see that it has already activated system assign, because that is what we selected when we try to build this endpoint, and it will have these roles assigned to it. If we decide to go another way, we need these roles into our, say, user assigned managed identity, because that's the other way to go around. So this is how this is created, and it's given the metrics writer viewer, the metrics writer role, machine learning workspace connection, secrets reader, storage block data reader, ACR pool, and storage block data contributor. And this is our deployment that we're waiting. We can see here that we have scaling, right? We can create our scaling rules directly from the portal, or we can go just here into the portal and create our scaling rules. It's up to us. Right, the image is, have a message here that prepare image has been completed. Let's see here what other steps are left. Yeah, I think we're good to go. It needs a few more moments to be able to run. So you can see here into the logs what's going on with our deployment and our endpoint. And because it is grading, we don't have anything to show yet. So let's see. Yeah. Right. Back to our resource group. If we want to have a look, this is our application. When we are given this application, we're given the code, right? We're given the code directly from our machine learning deployment, the endpoint deployment that we are waiting for it to build. We are given this type of code. This is for the Python, right? I have commented out these configurations. So what I did is I have created environment variable references for these two details, which when we are moving it to production, these are sensitive data. Right? It is the endpoint and our API key. The second one, the latter one, is the most important. So it is not the best practice to have it included into our code. So what we did here, we took these two variables and we created two environment variables for a web app. So I went from the VS Code environment, created a new web app, and added these two variables. Right? I changed the code here. I can add comments, and this is very easy to do it. You can see here that the line is not just this one. Always dot environment dot get, and in parentheses the variable, the actual variable. So I created this Azure web app. You can go here by using the extension, the Azure account extension. You can create a new web app. It's going to be up and ready into your portal. Add this variable code, right click on the root folder and deploy the web app. That's it. It's going to take 5 minutes at most. And you will have a new web app ready for you. Let's see here how that goes. It needs a little bit of more time. I think it will be ready very soon. See, I have to change these variables, of course, that we have added into our web app. So we're going to see it in action. I'm refreshing a little bit the whole portal. Sometimes you need to refresh when dealing with cloud resources. Sometimes you have to be patient, and sometimes you have to just go and refresh. This was the previous model. Yeah, I think the deployment is ready. Now, the deployment is ready, right? You can see here that the traffic is going to be on 100% here. The provisioning is ready. Our menu has added these new selections. Monitoring the logs was there. You have the testing option, so I can test it directly from the editor and ask the same question we asked earlier about that. What are the licensing options for Windows 2022 Essentials? Let's go and ask it. Now we're asking direct to the deployment. Options for Windows Server 2022 Essentials. And let's test it. And we have back our answer, right? The same answer that we got earlier. It's usually little to no changes are here because we are getting the same response for the model. You can use cast mechanism, you can use whatever you want. Let's go a little bit quicker because we have only 8 minutes. What I want to show you, ignore this error. This error is not a stopper to deploy your application. I haven't had the time to look on it. I did a little bit of a research, didn't find nothing, and decided to go on. So what I did, took our code from here. So in fact, what we have to change is our variables for the new model into our code, right? So it's the URL that's going to be changed. I'm taking it and adding it into our application. It is the Azure Endpoint, right? Let me edit it. Apply. And the API key as well. It's not into the code. It is in the upper section of the consume menu. Let's get it. And add it here. And apply. Confirm. I just save the new environment variables into my new web app, and I'm here ready to run it. So let's go and run web app into our. We don't have to redeploy, right? There's nothing that is changed here. This is our web app. All we have to do is change the URL that we're going to send our payload, our data, and the API key. The consume endpoints, you're going to observe that are creating the same type of code. So let's go and run our web app. In fact, browse the endpoint. I think we're in time, and we will be able to see it in action through a web application. So this is a very simple web application, right? All we need to do is ask a question. Let's say, what are the Windows 10 license options? I don't know if this is something that can be answered. Let's see what will bring back. This is ready. Let's change this. Consumption is this one. The key is correct. The code is correct. Am I forgetting something? I don't know. I don't think so. Let's have a quick look and restart it. Of course, we can just grab this code, bring it into our VS Code, and run it directly, right? The traffic is 100%. send. A little bit of detection doesn't hurt. See what was the problem. Let's see. Yeah, we have the answer. Just need a little bit of a restart. So we are asking what are the licensing options for Windows 10. Let's see. Because we updated the variable. Once you update something into a web application in Azure Web Apps, you have to give it some time to be able to run, to load again the image with the new variables. It needs 1 or 2 minutes. And it also depends on the application plan you have selected. You have a basic plan, so it's rather slow. Okay, this is the question. What are the Windows 10 license options? And we are getting back a response. We have a little bit of formatting here. You can see that it's a very simple Python application. We selected this way that we are able to see what's going on and how we can ultimately use it into our web app. So imagine that you have your endpoint and you have a Python backend. We are presenting the questions into your frontend, and Python, it's or your framework or language can interact with the prompt flow, actually the endpoint and the deployment endpoint at the end of the day. I'm sorry, and bring back the answer. You can see here that we are getting citations and where this data is found. A lot of more options are available regarding prompt flow. For example, we can create a copilot here, and we would be able to link to click into this link and get to download the file directly. We have these options. We can do it, but it's not our point now. We just wanted to see how we're going to create our control and how we can consume it directly from our Azure AI Studio Machine Learning Workspace available to us from Azure AI. I hope you like it. Thank you for being here with me today. This was a live session. I'm sorry for any mistakes or errors I have done. I hope again that you got something out of it and that you will be more confident now working with new technologies like Azure AI services and specifically prompt flow. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.